So, today we're going to dive into a viral diary entry that asks a really tough question. Why do so many modern love marriages, the ones that start with so much passion, seem to just fall apart? Let's unpack this one person's very compelling take on it all. And it all kicks off with something like this, right? This all or nothing, I can't live without you kind of passion. It feels like the ultimate proof of love. But according to the person who wrote this diary, that's not just the beginning of the fantasy. It's the seed of the entire problem. So let's set the scene for the first act. And it's a story you've probably heard 1,000 times. A young couple so completely wrapped up in their love that they truly believe it can conquer anything. So who are we talking about here? Well, we've got an 18-year-old girl and a 20-year-old boy. They are right at the very, very beginning of their adult lives. They're full of all this incredible emotion, but, not a whole lot of real-world experience. And they are absolutely convinced they've found the one. You can almost see their thinking here, can't you? The passion is off the charts, so the love must be real. And if the love is real, then obviously it's the only thing that matters. So what's the next logical step? They make this huge leap of faith. They decide to defy everyone, run away, and get married. Because in their minds, that's how you make it official and lock it in forever. Okay, but what happens when that us against the world high starts to fade? What happens when the romantic idea of running away gets replaced by the much, much harder reality of actually building a life from scratch? Well, this is where our story takes a sharp turn. And at first, everything's amazing. They're finally together, and that is all that counts. They tell each other they can adjust, they can handle anything as long as they have each other. But then, real life starts to creep in at the edges. All the unglamorous, practical stuff starts knocking on the door. And you know what's funny? The first little cracks in this perfect fantasy don't come from some huge fight. Nope, they come from the tiniest, most boring expenses, things they literally never had to think about before. Like the monthly cost of Sindor. It's not a lot of money, but it's a new bill, a recurring cost they just hadn't factored into their big romantic escape. And it doesn't stop there. Then it's sanitary napkins, then maybe face wash, moisturizer, a little thing here, a little thing there. And on their own, they're nothing. But they start to add up, and suddenly there's this financial pressure that they were just completely unprepared to handle. And this all boils down to a really simple, kind of harsh truth. You just can't pay the bills with passion. The very romantic ideals that their entire marriage was built on, they're proving to be no match for cold, hard financial reality. So, think about it. You've got this 20-year-old guy right at the start of his career. Sure, he might be earning a little something, but is it really enough to support himself and a whole new household and a partner? When you do the math, it just doesn't add up. Okay, so this story isn't just about one couple's money problems. The author uses it to make a much, much bigger point about what they see as a full-blown crisis in modern relationships. So what's their diagnosis of what's going wrong? To explain this modern mindset, the author uses this really powerful metaphor. The way people see relationships now is like waiting for a train. If you miss one, or if one doesn't work out, no big deal. Another one will be along in a few minutes. And this way of thinking has a name, the disposability mindset. It's this belief that, people are replaceable. Your partner isn't this unique, essential person anymore. They're interchangeable. And when you think like that, it just completely destroys the commitment you need to make something last long term. So, if we were to sum up this diagnosis, what are the key symptoms? Well, according to the writer, it comes down to a few big cultural shifts. Number one, people are chasing a fantasy, not reality. Number two, simple mutual respect between partners is just going out the window. And finally, this idea of adjustment or compromise, it's not seen as a strength anymore. It's seen as a weakness, a personal failure. And to really hammer this point home, the author gives us this incredible piece of evidence, a side-by-side comparison of two marriages from two different generations. I mean, just look at this. It's pretty stark, right? On one side, you have her parents. They got married even younger, 14 and 19, and they've been together for 27 years. On the other side, you have our young couple, 18 and 20, who can barely make it past a few months. The big takeaway here, according to the author, isn't the age, it's the core value. For her parents, it was all about adjustment. For today's youth, it's all about the fantasy. Okay, so if that intense, passionate, I'll die for you feeling isn't enough to make a marriage last, what is? What does real love actually need to survive? Let's get into the final part of this argument. Now, this is a really fascinating point. The author says that even how long you date doesn't matter. You could be together for 5, 7, even 10 years, and the marriage can still fall apart right after the wedding. And why is that? Well, the theory is that dating lets you keep the fantasy alive. Marriage forces you into reality, whether you're ready or not. So, what's the secret sauce? What's the foundation for a real partnership that can actually go the distance? Well, it boils down to a few things that are absolutely non negotiable. Mutual respect has to be there, a real willingness to adjust and compromise is critical, and you have to value the actual real person in front of you way more than the perfect fantasy version in your head. And crucially, this isn't just about love marriages. This applies to any marriage, arranged or not. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on. In this modern world of disposable relationships and fantasy-driven romance, what are we actually building? Are our connections built to last a lifetime, or are they just built to feel good for a little while? Is the goal longevity, or is it just the feeling?